lookouts. Two lookouts meet in a desert, far from the site of their gangs. With more in common than they could have expected, they scout out a town with rumors. What will become of this fateful meeting? Lookouts is a romance visual novel about two gay trans-masked outlaws in the Old West, finding refuge in each other, and a little hope for a better life. With roughly 45,000 words and 5 to 6 hours reading time, it's a much expanded version of the original made for the Gay Western Jam. The original Jam version can be played here. That's what we'll play. I will add this to my collection if we want to revisit it. Alrighty. So you sure we can trust this friend of yours, Info? It'll be a crying shame if you're wrong about this. Let me mute. This guy is someone to ride the river with. You'd never sell me bunk information. That town has struck gold, that's what he heard. Heard? He just heard about it. What kind of source is that? We can't go in off of rumors, you nutcase. Oh, thank you. I needed that. I missed something, though. But that's okay. The last job was a bust. We got nothing left. But think about it. We'll be living like English gangs if we take over a supply. Why did it skip the other one if it's not skipping that one? Alright. We've had some bad luck and are running low on essentials. We'll take that town by hook or by crook, and if they don't have that gold, we can take them for what they do have and skedaddle. The lookout go early in the morning and see what we're up against, but I reckon we can bulldoze this burg and have some fun either way. Make sure to bring us back some juicy details, won't ya, tomboy? He firmly slaps you on the back. Laughter fills the camp around the roaring fire. Sounds like you'll be riding at sunup to check the town out. You feel it's best to get some sleep. Oh, it doesn't... There's a weird little... But that's fine. The desert is in an orange haze. Scorched sands whip up around your horse's legs. The sun hot against your back, and as you ride towards the town, there's not much to be done while riding. The desert is lonely, harsh, bare. Only thing to do is think. I really like this art style. You don't like being alone with your thoughts so often for so long. But you always are alone as the lookout, alone being the odd stick of the gang. No one really talks to you unless they need something. You daydream as you ride, like usual. Lights a fancy of settling down somewhere. You're tied to Curly Wolf and his gang, though. Is it so much to ask to be able to live in peace, to not have to fight for survival, always on the run? Maybe that's what your life will always be like, gang or not. Whoa, look, it's an outlaw. Oh my gosh. A hunted outcast. They could have sent you off with some playing cards at the very least. You come to an outcropping near a cliff. Tying up your horse, you approach the edge and see the town come into view. A nice frontier town, small but clearly bustling, with people, white painted signs on the wooden buildings glint and bloom in the midday sun. You can't see much else from way up here, and turn to go get your binoculars. You open your saddlebag and pull the metal binoculars out, brushing it against your poncho to dust off the lenses. Turning back to walk to the edge, a figure suddenly rounds the corner of the large rock you've decided to set up camp under. Ah. Ka! Out of instinct, your hand snaps to your holstered gun and pulls it, trained squarely at the head of this new person. The bird, who seemingly came from nowhere, looks at you, clearly just as surprised and out of sorts from your own presence. He shifts backwards, eyeing your hand on your gun. The air feels very still all of a sudden, and given you have the upper hand, you take a moment to look at who just crossed paths with. Oh my god, two outlaws. Oh my god. He's definitely an outlaw like yourself. A rugged beak shining in the sun centers a face you admittedly find charming. Their face and arms are marked with scars, and a large sawn-off shotgun hangs in their holster. Since he's a bird, you know to be wary, just like he'll know to be wary of a canid like yours. Howdy there. What's your name, partner? Joseph. And what are you doing all the way out here, Joseph? You seem a dreadful long way away from where one might think you should be. I could ask you the same question. You stare him dead in the eye. He's pretty calm for someone having a gun pointed at his head, but you can see some of his feathers quivering. Were you trying to sneak up on me, Joseph? Rob me blind where no one else can see? Bet you thought a fella missing an arm would be easy. No, sir. Had no idea you were here until I walked around this here rock. Passed the red stone beside him as if to make a point. Sir, what in the Sam Hill? You lower your gun like your shoulder joint just gave out and let it hang there. In all my years, no stranger has ever called me sir. Well, color me surprised, fella. You'd have to be blind or full as a tick to not see an upstanding young gentleman. All right. Now you're just licking my boots. The hawk puts a hand to his chest. Imagine if they were outlaws because they were in-laws and got divorced to the other kids. What? What are you saying? God, as my witness, I ain't lying to you. You holster your gun and snort a small laugh. May he strike you down as penance then. What are you doing out here? Picking flowers? A smile drops from his face. He stops short and swallows, like he can't bear to say the next words. I'm part of the Black Vulture gang. I'm on lookout here to survey this here burg. That's very forward of you, considering I just had a gun pointed your way. I'm part of the Curly Wolf gang. I'll be damned, you boys have been all over the West. What brings you right here? Much the same as you, I would imagine. Rumors of gold. You'd have it just right. Well, I can imagine what my boss might want me to do, coming across someone who's sticking their beak in our business. Joseph tenses up, feathers ruffled. He understands full well what you mean, conflicting interests and all. But he's not here. Would be a real waste of a good bullet to use it on you. Okay. He's like, oh my god, you're hot. I can't shoot somebody that's hot. Joseph used to be married to your child, so you were this father-in-law, but things didn't work out, so now you're his outlaw. Adam. Is that an insult, or are you trying to make a mash on me? The small jibe is enough to make you stop talking and search for the binoculars. You threw when you pulled your gun, turning your face away to hide the blood rushing to your cheeks under your dark fur. You dust the binoculars off again and walk over to where Joseph is standing, his eyes keenly trained on the town. Don't need no binoculars then, huh? No, sir. These eyes can see all the faces of those people down there, no problem. Sir, again, maybe it's just a habit of his to call people that. Say, why do you keep calling me sir? I ain't your boss. You just that much of a polite suck-up? Costs nothing to be kind on the trail, I found. What do most people call you then? Ah, you thought this might come up. Of course, you're surprised it took this long for him to ask about who you are, what you are. Most would say tomboy, I would think. Or other things I wouldn't repeat in such polite company. What would you call yourself? Question takes you by surprise. Something else no one's ever asked you. I call myself a man. Huh, is that so? He's gonna think you're a nut now. You just know it. You'd be better getting on your horse right now and riding back then, staying another second around this stranger. Makes this story more interesting. I don't know if it does. How funny. I guess we're in the same boat if I'm picking up what you're putting down. Might say that the guy at the camp, don't you shove the queer to talk about money. You nod at him, unsure whether to laugh or not. Neither of you seem sure what to say now. You hold the binoculars to the bridge of your nose and investigate the town to give him a breather. No one seems like they'd put up much of a fight. No officers of the law in the streets, only a small building with a sheriff's sign hanging outside. Man, I thought I was gonna get some choices by now. The backs of the building you see are rather large, and considering you don't see the bank, you wonder which of them might be what you want to keep an eye on. Say, since we're looking for the same thing, what say you and me work together? The bird considered it for a moment, scratching his chin with a feather. A deal. He grabs your hand in a firm and enthusiastic handshake, smiling like an idiot. Alright, you big lug. You punch him playfully in the arm. Whoa. You just met this man. Could you get a camp started while I go around this valley and check which building's the bank? Can do, sir. He turns and goes to gather what he needs, and you walk off in the opposite direction around the cliffs. You look back for a few moments to watch him heft some wood, then turn tail back to where you were headed, letting the winds from the shaded valley cool off your blushing face. Your choice is to keep reading or not. That's true. Return. A handful of hours later. The valley is deceptively large, and it took you much longer to walk where you needed and back than anticipated. Joseph sees you and gets up from where he was sitting, attending to a pot of food, walking towards you quickly. You tense up as he approaches, expecting some new anger at you accidentally, leaving him to set up camp all by himself. Closes the distance, and you close your eyes as his hands reach out to you, expecting a bow. You flinch when you feel a weight around you, your shoulders. Opening your eyes, you see your thick blanket on you. You trying to die out there? You'll get consumption like that. You know how cold the desert gets at night. He pulls you over to the fire and sits down with you. I'm dreadfully sorry I was gone for so long. Shut your bazoo and get warm. You hadn't noticed till he mentioned the cold, but your hand is numb and so are your feet. How long have you been freezing for? Thank you, Joseph. Nothing to it. Eat up. He hands you a hot bowl of beans. Beans! It almost hurts against your cold hand, but it's soothing. You eat together in relative silence beneath the dark starlit sky. Oh, man. Man, Joseph is a Rizzler once we came back. You both finish and you pull the blanket round you. You're still cold. The desert chills sweeping under the blanket still. Are you not cold? I've been around the fire all night, haven't I? I'm fine. He's lying. You can see his feathers twitch and shiver, but he's trying hard to hide it. You stand up with the blanket and pull it over onto him, sitting down with him. You were right. He's definitely cold, but a lot warmer than you would have imagined. Aw, man. Aw. I told you I'm fine. Don't give me that blow, tough guy. He looks like he's going to say something, but just shuts his beak. He suddenly seems a lot warmer. This is what I imagine club life is like, but I've never been to the club. Is this how you get one night stands? Together you huddle, bringing the blanket tighter and tighter, and moving closer to each other. You just come up to each other and be like, hello, partner. I got a blanket. It is cold. You want a bowl of beans. And then they cuddle up to you, and that's how how it works. He smells like the desert, dusty and sweaty. Why is this so warm? Why do you feel like this? Not warm like you're around a fire, but like there's a fire inside you. Warm coals shifting around inside and embers spitting in your throat. You ever felt like this before? Joseph, he looks at you. Your face is so close. Kalala shows up to the blanket with a blanket. Shows up to the blanket with a blanket. I meant club with a blanket. Yeah. You lean your head into his shoulder, staring into the wild dance of the fire. I haven't met someone like me before, or someone like you. You're extremely kind, even to a stranger like me. I wish I could know you more than these few hours. How many times do you think this man does this? He's like, it's Thursday, I gotta go to the desert, see if I can pick up a boy. Pick up a man. It sounds creepy if I say it like that, I guess. I don't have to ride back in the morning, but of all the hopes I've hoped, the strongest is that I could just stay here. That the sun would never rise. I feel like this relationship has really picked it up a notch real quick, yes. I don't want to go back. Stay clinging to him. It has. This is how one night stands work, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I have no... I don't know. After a few moments, he pulls you tighter. I have to say, I feel the same way. I can see in you someone who's faced so many hardships, someone who deserves better, who's worked harder than any of the lump suckers back where you've come from. Okay, Joseph, you don't know me. Calm down. I could be incredibly spoiled. Joseph in his house on Thursday, excited, knowing there's a cold man in the desert that needs a blanket. Facts. We're a couple of queer fish in a barrel, I'd say. Lord knows how we found each other. How do you know that? How do you know I'm also? Joseph feels a little creepy. The sun will come up again. We'll have to go our separate ways, but you lift your head to look at him, but he just gives you a look and turns back to the fire. Nah, never mind. What are you thinking? He sighs, wearily, like he's been asked to carry the world on his back. It's a flight of fancy, but if our bosses are both looking for the same thing, that could be an opportunity of sorts, I don't know. He looks at you, almost for approval, sees you're still listening and continues. We could get them to fight and escape when no one's looking. Ride east till we know no one's chasing us. That sounds nice. And that's what they did. Because that's where we're ending. Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger. They lived happily ever after in the desert.